win. Everything done is a perfect 10. So when it comes to the bar, it's higher than it's ever been.
The following contest is set for one fall. Introducing first, from Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, Canada, the Quintessential Knockout, Gisele Shaw.
Well, welcome back, Gisele Shaw. No, let me talk. Let me talk. I am so excited to see the Quintessential Knockout back to form here in the impact zone.
I was going to say, elsewhere amongst the knockouts, that was interesting moments ago.
Her opponent from Sydney, Australia, Shazza McKenzie.
We are set to witness the return of Gisele Shaw to action in a TNA wrestling ring for the first time in over 3 months. Her last matchup was at the No Surrender event, which you can watch back on demand anytime on TNA. Plus, it was Gisele Shaw who that night in New Orleans challenged Jordan Grace for the Knockouts World Championship and came up short in what was an outstanding matchup, a hard-hitting affair, but obviously it took its toll mentally on Gisele Shaw. This return is largely in part to the positive influence of TNA Hall of Famer Gail Kim, who we saw last week trying to convince Gisele Shaw to make this return and dive back into the ring.
Well, we do know that Gail Kim, I mean, even as far back as months ago, like you were saying, was telling Gisele Shaw at the time, you don't need to be running around with the Chantrage. As much as I dearly, dearly miss them, as much as I do, that Gisele Shaw had more to offer, could do this on her own, had the raw talent, had the raw skill. And speaking of which, there is Gail Kim, who's been such a guiding force for Gisele Shaw recently and is hoping to obviously see that new side come out here starting tonight.
Watching from backstage here, meanwhile back inside the impact zone, Shazza McKenzie was recently in action on an edition of Explosion on TNA Plus. Going one-on-one here with Gisele Shaw. Now Shaw off of the ropes and a Hurricane Rana. Down goes Shazza McKenzie. And that's the thing about Gisele Shaw. You talk about her doing it on her own. Hard to kill back in January. She won Ultimate X and the Knockouts World title shot ultimately that she utilized at No Surrender on her own with no help from the Chantrage. She nearly defeated Jordan Grace at No Surrender on her own.
Well, whatever that time at home, that time away, that time in solitude has done for Gisele Shaw, it is apparent here tonight. She still comes out here with the same pizzazz, but there is another level to the intensity, to the physicality. There is just a vibe about Gisele Shaw that is turned up here.
Hold on. Let's go for the knee strike. The denouement trying to end this matchup. McKenzie rolled out of the way, uses the top rope right into the throat of Shaw and gains the advantage.
And man, if you're Shazza McKenzie, to be able to shut down the return of Gisele Shaw could be huge for you.
Cover, face first into the canvas and a kick out at one. And think about the positive influence of Gail Kim on Gisele Shaw as we celebrate 20 years of TNA Impact, one of the greatest moments in the history of this program. Awesome Kong and Gail Kim, the first women's match to main event an episode of Impact back in 2008 for the Knockouts World Championship.
It's moments like that that Gisele Shaw would like to be a part of in her own career.
And Shaw showing the tenacity that have made the Knockouts legendary for decades here in pro wrestling.
Shaw would, of course, love to be Knockouts World Champion herself.
She might get a knockout here, Ray Walt. Cover, hook to the leg on McKenzie. And a kick out.
But what did I tell you about the upping, that turning that intensity, turning that physicality, turning that focus up to 11? You can see all of it oozing out of Gisele Shaw tonight.
Now up onto the shoulders, trying to control Shazza McKenzie. Now Shaw from the middle rope. Gets the cutter center of the ring. Some of the explosion, that fantastic athleticism Shaw's always possessed. Now the denouement, the knee strike. Welcome back, Gisele Shaw.
Here's your winner, Gisele Shaw.
The the Quintessential Knockout scores a knockout in her big return here to TNA.
What a way to mark your return on the 20th anniversary edition of TNA Impact.
And so we remain, alone, stripped of our family, our allies, those we loved. Love. What do you know about love? Demons can't love, you fool. Quiet! Those we favored then. The children of the hive, wrapped around us like a husk of protection. They came with us to battle. Every single time, and now they're gone. Stripped from us, like a snakeskin that we outgrew. For our sins, they're all gone. For our failures, they're all gone. What failures? You're God. Gods don't fail. For our sins, they are gone. For our sins, those responsible will pay. Because we are more than our failures. We are our sins. And we are many.